are the key experiences or turning point that shaped your thought process and made you the leader that you are today?
I started my career very hands-on. I was very young, managed frontline teams, basically customer experiences, event operations. Those things really taught me how to value my own discipline and detail and organization. I believe that when you start low, you can build your success. You have to know the whole platform of every business that you're walking into.
So let's talk about your professional experiences and lessons. Your
Yes.
career has spanned multiple roles across operations, marketing, and leadership.
Yes.
Looking back from today, what are the key experiences or turning point that shaped your thought process and made you the leader that you are today?
Man, there's so many things. And I have to touch on the fact that you said wine room tasting manager, because that always
Yes.
people are like, whoa, that's interesting on your resume. Um, my passion is food. Uh, Food and wine pairing was a passion that I had at a very, very young age. I walked into a winery at a very young age, and they needed computer assistance, and I started helping them with their computers just for fun. And lo and
Mhm.
behold, I had an opportunity to start growing with them. That was Chateau Ste. Michelle Winery. But back to your initial part of the question, I started my career very hands-on. I was very young. I managed frontline teams, basically customer experiences, event operations. Those things really taught me how to value my own discipline and detail and organization. The big shift came for me, I believe, when I moved to senior operations and consulting. And that was just obviously the next path for me after doing this for so many years. I realized that leadership was so much more. It was about empowering the leaders and the team along with the leaders. I learned that so long ago. It helped me with starting from such a low level. I believe that when you start low, you can build your success. You have to know the whole platform of every business that you're walking into. And I believe
Right.
that's how I become such a key element in these leadership roles and helping entrepreneurs succeed. So my key turning point was just a transition that was obviously going to happen. And I'm great at leading founders and C-level executives. And I wanted to bring that to the platform for them. And I'm wonderful at writing SOPs. I can go into a business, see where communication or rhythms are off, help people take accountability in the systems that they have or do not have within their organization.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting how I came about that. But basically, I started low level and worked my way back up. And I've also learned that resilience and communication are a huge, huge part of everything that I do.
Now let's talk about the art of building systems. You have created so many systems along the way in your career. Let's focus on a start who just got funded, is growing at a rapid speed. The art of building system and scaling with excellence. How do you do that? Because once a company explodes, they get the funding, they want to go higher, they're building products, they're having supply chain,
Mhm,
all
mhm.
those things. Uh, Things get messy, processes
Yes.
start to break, priorities gets fuzzy. How to keep everything on track? Are there some quick tips or something to really watch for the young founders who are coming into these streams, fundraising, and then trying to build their company? How they can build effective systems around their company, which will help them in scaling with excellence.
Oh, that's a great question. Again, going back to just our previous question that we were hitting on, everything is personal. Everything's about
Mhm.
people. So when I go in to help leadership, young entrepreneurs build and thrive and be successful in what their vision is, the secret is really designing the system around the people that you've hired because everybody's so different, but you hired them for a specific talent. So you
Right.
really want to play on the art of the people, not forcing people into a system that you think is working for you or that you've built out. It's really about giving them a system that's going to be the most successful for them. Operations should never, ever feel like a red tape for entrepreneurs or any of their employees, whether they're sweat equity or not. That's super important, because if they feel like there's red tape involved in operations, then they are not going to want to stick with that mission. It's going to be difficult for them, and their dreamer design aspect won't be able to come out for them. They should feel like we're complete support beams for them. So I think that these entrepreneurs need to have complete clarity in their documentation. They need to make sure that the documentation not only fits what they're doing, but it fits the environment that they're going into. They need to know how that they can delegate. That's the biggest thing I find with young entrepreneurs, and
Mhm.
entrepreneurs are like, delegating is very scary because you have this vision. But again, you have to remember that you hired these people, or you are this person because you know that they can do this job with you. Um, with SOPs and any kind of documentation, bottom line is, if it's not written down on Schumann, it is not going to happen. If it's not written in
Yeah.
protocol, if it's not in an operations manual, if it's not in front of them, it's not going to happen. I tell founders all the time, your operations are super competitive. If you think that you're unique in what you're doing, you are not. There's going to be somebody out there that's going to be trying to do it better or reach past you. So when you combine the documentation and the structure and the culture of the people together with the communication that we were talking about, and have complete transparency, I think that that brings accountability to the entrepreneurs, and it brings rhythm into the environment, and it helps people want to just grab on and take hold of that mission and run with them. It becomes basically natural for what you're doing. It's a lifestyle. It's nothing that's going to be forced.
Great, great. I think, if the founders can see that, if they have a well managed operations, it is really their competitive advantage over their competition, and they shouldn't be looking at it as a cost center. What are your thoughts on that?
They shouldn't be looking at it as a cost center.
Yeah.
I believe that no, they shouldn't be looking at it as a cost center. There's definitely, I think that when you're going, you're going to know that there's going to be competitors going against you. But I believe
Hmm.
that you need to have those blinders on. You need to take in the data and understand it, and have somebody
Yeah.
mindfully analyze it for you, right? Um, and don't get stuck in those things. The world is competitive. So you have to know that going into it, right? I mean, going
Mhm.
into politics, I already know this is going to be quite a wild ride for me, right? So just
Yeah.
be mindful of that, I would say. Yeah.
So these days, people are building international team who are
Hmm.
coming and working together to build a platform or a product.
Yep.
So culture, communication, accountability, how are they interconnected with process design, and what type of that process should be, that we are cognizant of people's culture, their background, their
Hmm.
time zones, how to communicate with them, what are some of the things that you'd suggest, which will help these founders when they have distributed team in various countries to get the optimal kind of output from them by taking care of the culture, communication, and accountability, and create a process which is conducive to results.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have one of my clients right now is with Roblox, and he is actually doing a side project for himself. So he's building out a small team, and I'm part of that team. We are in all different places, and he
Mhm.
travels, worldwide. So we have to be mindful of time zones and platforms, and of course, cultures, and what people are doing in their personal lives as well. It's so crazy how our work lives and our schedules have become so flexible with COVID, right? I mean, here we are sitting doing this right
Yeah,
now. I'm,
yeah,
in my home, you're in your home office. So with that being said, honestly, I like to take surveys going into it when I know there's a team that's going to be spread broad spectrum across either different time zones, different states, along with different cultures, work habits, and work ethics. It's about finding out what times are best for people to do face-to-face communications, what times are best to do presentations for people. Is there
Mhm.
any language barriers? Is there any culture barriers? We need to make sure that we all understand what mission we're trying to support and how we're going to get there on the same page. Um, I when I go in, I like to learn everybody's personality. So it's about learning their personalities and their work habits as well, because
Mhm.
we have people that might not work the same hours. And if hours don't affect the actual mission, because a lot of us aren't 8 to 5 anymore, then we take that into effect. Because again, we don't want to have any red tapes for our team to be able to process the mission that we're trying to accomplish. Um, I think it's honestly just making sure that everybody knows that we have to communicate weekly and daily. There's going to be different personalities that we're going to have to interact with and getting to know each other. So I think really important is knowing each other, the team, when you go in from the start, having a group meeting, having team meetings until you build it out and you feel comfortable with the different time zones, the different cultures, everything that's going on, right? I'm a very fast paced worker. My calendar starts at 4 a.m. and it ends at about 11 o'clock at night. Not everybody does that. And I don't expect everybody to. So with these entrepreneurs, they need to make sure that they're not going in having those same expectations because they work those 16, 20-hour days, that their
Mhm.
team is going to work those 16, 20-hour days to start. And they might work different hours, but just make sure that you know what their work habits are and what they believe that the mission is for the entrepreneur, because you can lay it down for them again on paper, but we don't know that they truly understand it. So I like to have them explain back to me, what is it that we're trying to accomplish? What do you believe our main goals are? Where do you see us in the next 6 months,
Right.
year, 18 months, 5 months? Where do you see yourself with the company? All those basic questions. I know they sound super basic, but it's what builds out a great team for success.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's talk about leadership, mentorship, and community building. And you have been part of all these three. You have spent years mentoring others and serving in the community organization, like your city and the city
Yeah.
council.
Yes.
How have those experiences shaped your approach to leadership?
Wow.
So we met at ENG.
Yes.
You are part of the city.
Yes.
So how, you know, so different. One is a political organization, very government oriented things, runs at a very different speed. And then this is a startup world, ENG, where investors invest $5 million or more, which is at a very rapid speed.
Yeah.
How both are two poles of experiences. How do you keep your sanity and it has shaped up your leadership style? How do you move from one to the other? You are doing one meeting after the other. How does that magic happens?
Um, well, therein lies my great operation skills and management skills, and I use them for myself. So everything that I teach entrepreneurs, I obviously have to use for myself. Um, that's the heart of my leadership, is being in all these different places. I wouldn't have it any other way. It helps you, again, learn all the different cultures and all the different personalities of everybody that you're going to work with. And then you can intertwine them um, singularly with all the different aspects, whether it's fundraising, whether it's working in the community, whether it's city council. Touching on the mentorship, mentorship has always been near and dear to my heart. I don't believe that enough people have mentors, and I believe every human should have a mentor. And whether or not it's your parent, I truly believe it should be somebody different than your parent, because they can look at you differently and a little more honestly than
Mhm.
your parent can. Sometimes parents get those goggles of beauty and faith on because they see their children, and you could be not a very good singer and your parents are telling you you're wonderful. So you need that mentor that's going to be true and honest to
Mhm.
you. So I wanted to be able to be that and reflect that for people. I didn't want to hold anything back from anybody. Hope Builders is such a wonderful organization. They have a stipend program that young men and women alike can go through, and it helps them whether they want to do clerical work, administrative work, building, HVAC, and they go through a stipend program. And
Mhm.
that small amount of money is a big deal to them. We get them suits at the end and we put them through training and classes. We have them do mock interviews. We put them through life experiences and see how they respond. And it's amazing to see how they start and how they actually finish. Working with HopeBuilders and nonprofits is amazing. I work with Oakview Family Resource Center in Huntington Beach. I started my own foundation in 1999 called From the Heart Foundation. And it was
Mhm.
just a fun little name that I threw out there. And it was, bless her heart, my grandma Gwen, who passed away last June. That was just her heart was serving back to the community. So I've officially had my own nonprofit started, which is Bug Angels. And I go out to the community and I help with mentorship, I help with meals, I help with outreach programs. And that really helps me to continue to embody and embrace my leadership roles and my mentorship roles. Um, it's so neat to see all the different kinds of people in the community. So I go from ENG meetings with executives, doctors, lawyers, politicians, business owners, and then I head into the rough parts of Santa Ana, Huntington Beach. We have some rough parts, and I do some amazing work there. And I think it just gives me more empathy and structure to coexist with
Mhm.
everybody alike that I come into contact with. And it
Mhm.
helps me to see different things, because if we're just stuck in an executive level, then we're just stuck at an executive level. We always don't take the time to see the world in different ways, right? And I think that's really, really important. And God's given me that strength to be able to do that. The empathy that I have, it gives me connection to everybody. I've learned a long time ago that when I started investing time in mentorship, not just with local kids of our community and other communities alike, Boy Scouts of America, I've done mentorship with them, my own children alike mentorship. It builds teams and it builds purpose for the community. It's not paycheck driven, it's heart driven.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing when I go to the executive network group. It's really not paycheck driven, even though absolutely fundraising is an amazing thing to do, and getting those checks and building those businesses and going through those series A and B fundraising is just amazing. And going, through the incubator platforms and accelerators is just awesome. But this is a heart thing, just like meeting with you is a heart thing, and we connected instantly. And I think it's because we have very outgoing personalities, and we were
Mhm.
not afraid to walk up to each other and not just text each other.
Right, right. So true. Let's talk about the importance of mentorship a little bit more. You
Yeah,
did early on told on this podcast that everybody should have a mentor, and I completely, completely, completely agree with you. I think everybody should have three mentors: one
yes,
for their career and growth, one for their leadership style and empathy, and one their physical fitness. Because it, there is no point in making a lot of money and then your health doesn't support it. It doesn't make
absolutely.
sense that your health is good and you are making a lot of money, but you don't have a feeling for others. You don't have empathy, and these are coachable skills.
Yes.
Mentors can help you in doing that. Talk in your terms. How do you see mentorship helping startup founders, early entrepreneurs in their journey, in their growth?
Oh man, that's such a good question. The founders are so amazing to work with, because it's like you said, we want to teach them empathy. And when they have empathy, they connect with their teams at a different level and they can see things at a different level. Um, I believe that having three mentors is awesome. It's exactly like you said. We have them for different areas and arenas of our life. The founders can sometimes really get stuck and just blinded by trying to build their businesses, trying to build their missions out. And they need to have people that help keep them on track. And therein lies the mentors. My first mentor I met when I was 17 years old, and I'm
Mhm.
talk to her all the time. She's amazing. She's seen me fail. She's seen me get up again and start. And I think that's, I really want to say, we're all going to fail. And failure is not defeat. It is a stairway to success, because it teaches us
Mhm.
to grow with anything that we're doing in life. So yes, I believe that we need to have a business mentor, number one, right? We need to have that business mentor for all the founders. And that can be somebody that you look up to, but really, I think it's somebody that you want to connect with through a networking group that you really, it could be an old professor. It could be somebody that has their own business.
Mhm.
Stay connected with them. Don't fall away from that and be completely honest with them. That's a huge part of having a mentor, is being honest with them and telling them
Mhm.
where you're struggling or where you need help to succeed. And then definitely you need to have somebody that I believe helps structure your life and your time management, as far as not getting off track and just focusing on your business. If you just focus on your business, you're not going to honestly grow it out. You're going to wear out and get burnt out. So you need to have somebody that helps. So like say, hey, you need to be doing personal things that you enjoy as well. And I have so many founders say, well, this is what I enjoy. That's why I'm doing it. No, you had a hobby before. You read books. You have a family. You have a dog. You like the beach. You like to go to the library, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Find those things and set the time. It's so important for the founders. And then what you said, health is so important. Without your health, and I'm actually writing a book and I'm kicking names around on it, but it's honestly touching Anshuman on everything we're talking about right now. And
Mhm.
it's it's we need to stay healthy in order to continue to strive and move forward. And I myself have
Right.
been on multiple health journeys in my life, and I've had setbacks as well, and I've had my head down and I've put weight on and I've done those things. And it's like, no, then I have my personal trainer come in, like, you need to stay focused. And I've fallen off track with that. And I'll be the first one to say, so that's when you really have to stay consistent with. So when you have these mentors, they're not just saying, hey, yeah, I have a mentor. It's consistently working with those mentors, taking their
Right.
guidance, advice, and support, and sitting down with them, getting in the thick of it with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So true. So true. Agreed. Let's talk about myth busting and unfiltered truths about operations and leadership. You must have experienced a lot where somebody who is trying to get the leadership skills from you or getting mentorship from you come up with a very strong point of view. So, what are those busting and unfiltered truths that you've experienced through your life in helping these founders and all?
Yeah, that's a good one. So, Mythbusters, a lot of the founders I find are dreamers.
Mm-hmm.
They're dreamers. There's different kinds of people, right? And a lot of the founders that I work with are dreamers, and they want to continue to have their dream come to fruition. So the biggest myth, I would say, when going in to talk to the founders and they have their C-level executives with them, is that operations kills creativity. Operations does not kill creativity. Operations is a platform for creativity and success. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it structures and creates freedom for the founder. So I have a lot of founders say, oh, I don't want to do this operations. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do what I want. This isn't making sense for me. And then I get in there, and I have one that I have an NDA with. I can't give a name, but they were not about structure. They were about just waking up, do it how they do it. And they thought that that was the most successful they were going to be. Once I created a full outline schedule for them based on time with mentor, health, knowledge, and then having time to build out the mission for their business, they're like, why haven't I done this years ago? I literally have more time in the day and I feel more rested than I've ever felt. And it's about structure. And
Mm-hmm.
structure is not easy to get into because it's kind of like diets. People look at diets like, oh, it's just temporary. No, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindful waking up every day and being consistent with what you're doing. Um,
Right.
another another myth that I've come across and with founders and their employees alike is that leadership has no charisma. It's all about authority. It's all about
Mm.
power. It's all about ego. And that's one of the polls I take. So when I go into businesses, it's so easy for HR um, and executives to take these polls with their own employees, but they're not going to be always 100% honest with them. So when you have somebody different coming in, a smiling, happy face that's different, charismatic, they're more inclined to be open and honest with you. I'll take that example to the fact that I serve in the U.S. Army National Guards for the 240 Signal Company. And they, the soldiers are more inclined to speak to me more freely about what's going on and want to get leadership and guidance than they are with their first sergeants or captains. That's because
Right.
I am different. I'm charismatic. I lead with my heart. I lead with love. And so it's a different kind of approach to them. So the myth that there has to be only authority over charisma, it's not the truth. In truth, it's about consistency. It's about not worrying about titles. And following your trust in your heart. You don't want to get stuck on, I'm the founder, this is my way, only this way. You want to go building out a team and letting them know that you're an open person, you're transparent, you want to hear all the ideas, because they're not going to be the only dreamer on the team. Just like I mentioned earlier, we're not the only unique ones in a lot of these thoughts. I'm not the first one to have these thoughts either. I've seen so many teams blossom when leadership stop micromanaging people and actually start mentoring their teams. The micromanaging and like, what are you doing constantly on chats, or where are you at with this? Where are you at that? It really puts that red tape up. It really does. And that's even if it's two founding partners. I've seen it with two partners going in, partnered together, and the same thing can happen. One is different worker because they have a different culture than the other one, but they each came together for a reason, because they brought some talent to the table at the very beginning. That was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Lessons for the founders who are listening to this show and who will be watching you on YouTube. What are the guiding principles that help you and make you who you are today, Rosalind? What were those guiding principles? And okay, why don't you answer this, and then I'll have a follow-up question regarding
Okay.
consistency and accountability.
That's fine. So I think that for me, it was building my foundation early. Like I said, I started in operations at such a young role, and it was from just clerical work to doing light events. So I think it was just building that foundation early on. So I think for the founders, whatever your platform is, you want to start building that strong foundation early. You don't want to start building out the foundation in the operations when everything is breaking or you feel like you're crumbling. And that's where a lot of times I come in. And that's sad for me to come in to somebody who was so high up here when they went in on this mission, and they had this great idea, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, scrambling, help me, because they did not build out that structure and that operation, and they let the things break. And so I think that starting that foundation early is super important. Structure builds trust across the board, not just for yourself, because you're telling yourself these things, for the people that you're working with, and for everybody that you're trying to get your product to out in the community, out in the world, right? You have to have that trust and build that culture. Another thing is, we're perfectly imperfect as humans. We are not perfect. Do not strive for perfection. It's not a true and realistic goal. What's realistic when building a business is progress with your consistency. So the founders need to be happy with their progress, not being focused on daily perfections of everything, because there are going to be places where people fall. We're humans. It's just a fact, right? Stay self-aware and know what you do best. That's where you need to go in and know what you do best as that founder, right? Self-aware of that. Don't try to wear all the hats and all the roles. Be super humble and delegate things.
Right.